If you have $1,000 sitting in your bank account right now, the next 48 hours matter more than you think. The 5 moves you make with this money, in the exact order you make them, will determine whether you retire with $100,000 or $2 million. That is not an exaggeration. That is the mathematical reality of compound interest applied to the first dollar you actually control. And here is the uncomfortable truth: most people who hit their first $1,000 saved make wealth-destroying default decisions in the first week, because nobody ever told them the correct sequence. Today I am walking you through the 5 exact moves, in order, with specific accounts, specific dollar amounts, and specific actions you can execute this weekend without paying for a single tool or subscription. I'm Goodnews. I make videos that turn financial confusion into clear next steps, the kind you can actually execute this weekend without needing a finance degree or a paid course. Let me tell you about Kayla. She is 26 years old. She works as an administrative coordinator at a mid-size company in Houston. She earns $47,000 a year. Last Thursday, Kayla checked her Chase savings account and saw a number she had never seen before: $1,042.17. For the first time in her adult life, she had 4 digits in her savings. Not from a tax refund, not from a gift, from 8 months of putting $130 aside from every paycheck. And then she Googled what to do with $1,000 saved. The first page gave her 14 different answers. Invest it. Pay off debt first. Open a Roth IRA. Start a business. Buy crypto. Try a CD. Put it in a money market. Download an app. Get a financial advisor. She closed the browser, left the money sitting in her checking account earning 0.01% interest, and told herself she would figure it out next month. That was 3 months ago. The $1,000 is still in her checking account. She has not touched it. She has not moved it. She is still figuring it out. According to the 2024 Bankrate Emergency Savings Report, 57% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency from savings. Kayla is already ahead of the majority of the country. But without a clear sequence of action, being ahead means nothing, because the money is not working. And the distance between money sitting still and money working is the entire distance between $100,000 and $2 million at retirement. Here are the 5 exact moves. In order. Starting right now. Before the steps land, one thing needs to be clear. The financial world does not have a money problem. It has a sequence problem. Nick Maggielli, Chief Operating Officer at Ritholtz Wealth Management and author of Just Keep Buying, explains this precisely. The math of wealth building is almost boring in its simplicity. Start with what you have. Automate the flow. Buy broad market index funds continuously. Ignore the noise. The people who fail at this are not the people who lack money. They are the people who wait for the perfect moment. That is exactly where Kayla is stuck. She has the money. She does not have the sequence. The Reddit r/personal finance community created a flowchart years ago that has been shared millions of times. A single-page decision tree showing exactly what to do with every dollar from the first $100 to the first $100,000. Every credible personal finance voice, from the Afford Anything podcast with Paula Pant to the Journey to Launch podcast with Jamila Safrant to the Clever Girls No podcast with Bola Sokumbi, points to fundamentally the same sequence. The order is not controversial. It is backed by math. And almost nobody teaches it in the right way at the right time. Here is the sequence. 5 steps. In order. Kayla is about to do every single one of them this weekend. But first, let me show you what happens when Kayla does nothing. This is the version most people live. She leaves the $1,000 in her Chase checking account earning 0.01%. She tells herself she will figure it out next month. Next month becomes next quarter. Next quarter becomes next year. Meanwhile, her $1,400 Discover card balance at 24.99% APR is growing by $350 per year in interest alone, money leaving her account automatically, while she waits to make a decision about $1,000 sitting perfectly still. Her employer is depositing free match money into a 401k she has not optimized. At a 4.5% match on her $47,000 salary, That is $2,115 per year in free money she is leaving on the table. Over 5 years of inaction, that is $10,575 in employer contributions she never claimed, before any compound growth is even calculated. And the $300 she could have invested into a Roth IRA at 26, even if she never added another dollar, would have grown to approximately $6,500 by age 65 at a 7% historical average annual return. Instead it sat in checking earning nothing, and was slowly consumed by an unplanned car repair and a dental bill she did not have an emergency fund to cover. According to the Playing with Fire documentary, one of the most watched personal finance films in the last 5 years, the single most expensive thing in financial planning is not a bad investment. It is inaction. Because inaction does not feel like a decision, but the compound math treats it as one. The Clever Girls Know podcast with Bola Sokumbi has covered this exact pattern extensively. The first-time saver who reaches their milestone and then freezes because the options are overwhelming. The money does not disappear in a crash. It disappears in a drift, slowly, invisibly, into expenses that would have been covered if the structure had existed. 5 years of drift at Kayla's numbers cost her approximately $38,000 in lost compound growth, unclaimed employer match, and credit card interest paid money she earned and then quietly lost by doing nothing with the $1,000 she already had. That is the cost of not knowing the sequence. Now here is the sequence. Move $500 of your $1,000 into a high-yield savings account today. Not tomorrow. Today. Not your regular savings account at Chase or Bank of America earning 0.01%. A high-yield savings account at Ally Bank, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, Discover, SoFi, or Capital One 360, all of which currently pay between 4.0 and 5% APY according to the 2024 Bankrate Best Savings Accounts Survey. All of them are free. All of them are FDIC insured up to $250,000. All of them can be opened from your phone in under 10 minutes. The 2024 Bankrate survey found that only 22% of Americans use a high-yield savings account despite the historically high rates available right now. That means 78% of savers are leaving free interest on the table. This $500 is not an investment. It is your emergency microbuffer. According to NerdWallet's emergency fund study, households with even a small starter emergency fund of $500 to $1,000 are 78% less likely to use high-interest credit cards when unexpected expenses hit. That single behavior changes, moving $500 from a low-yield account to a high-yield account, is the most protective first move you can make with your money. Kayla opened a Marcus account on her lunch break. It took 7 minutes. She transferred $500. By Monday it was earning 4.4% instead of 0.01%. Before you do anything else with the remaining $500, set up an automatic recurring transfer of at least $100 per month from your checking account to your new HYSA. Do this today. Not next week. Today. According to the 2024 Empower Financial Happiness Report, Americans who have automated at least one savings transfer report 33% higher financial confidence than those who save manually. The reason is simple: automation removes the decision from every month. You do not wake up and decide to save. The saving happens before you decide anything. Every automatic saving app, Chime, Cash App, Ally Auto Transfer, SoFi Roundups exists because the financial industry proved decades ago that manual saving fails for 90% of people. The FinTalk generation understood this instinctively. The cash-stuffing envelopes trending on TikTok are the analog version of the same principle: make saving feel automatic and physical. Kayla set her Marcus account to pull $130 automatically on the 1st and 15th of every month. That is $260 per month. She did not increase her savings amount. She just automated the same $130 she was already saving manually, and removed the monthly decision. You are halfway through the 5 steps. If this is the clearest breakdown you have heard on what to do with your first $1,000, subscribe so the next one lands in your feed the moment it drops. Now let's keep going. If you carry any credit card debt, take $200 of your remaining $500 and make an extra payment against your highest interest card right now. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau documented that the average credit card interest rate reached 22.8% in 2024, the highest since the CFPB began tracking in 1994. And the Federal Reserve Consumer Credit Report shows U.S. credit card debt has reached $1.13 trillion, the highest ever recorded. Here is why this matters for your $1,000 plan. Every dollar sitting in a savings account earning 4.5%, while you carry credit card debt at 22.8% is losing you 18.3% per year net. That is not a rounding error. That is your money quietly burning while you think you are saving. Kayla had a $1,400 balance on a Discover card at 24.99% APR. She sent $200 against it the same day she set up her HYSA. That $200 saves her roughly $50 in interest over the next year. A return she cannot get from any savings account on earth. If you have zero credit card debt, skip this step entirely and move directly to step 4. This step only applies to high-interest consumer debt. Not student loans, not car loans, not your mortgage. Credit cards only. If your employer offers a 401k match, and you are not contributing enough to capture the full match, this is the single highest return financial move available to you anywhere. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Employee Benefits Survey, approximately 50% of private sector employees have access to an employer retirement plan match, with the average match sitting at 4.5% of salary. That match is a 100% instant return on your contribution. No investment in history consistently produces 100% returns. This one does. And roughly half of eligible employees never claim it. Here is how this connects to your $1,000 plan. You do not need to invest from this specific $1,000 to capture the match. What you need to do is log into your HR benefits portal today and make sure your 401k contribution percentage is set to at least the match threshold. If your employer matches up to 4% and you are contributing 2%, increase it to 4% today. The additional payroll deduction is small for Kayla at $47,000. Increasing from 2 to 4% costs her roughly $72 per month before tax. Kayla logged into her company's Fidelity 401k portal and increased her contribution from 2% to 4.5%, the full match. That one change added approximately $2,115 in free employer contributions per year. She did it between meetings on a Tuesday. Bola Sokumbi, founder of Clever Girl Finance and one of the most influential voices in beginner personal finance, puts it simply: leaving employer match money on the table is the financial equivalent of throwing away your own paycheck. The match is not optional. It is the foundation. Take the remaining $300 and open a Roth IRA at Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. Choose one low-cost total market index fund. Invest the $300. Set up a recurring monthly contribution of whatever you can afford, even $25. That is it. That is the entire move. J.L. Collins, author of The Simple Path to Wealth, one of the most recommended personal finance books in the financial independence community, frames this with the clarity it deserves. The most important financial move you will ever make is starting to invest. The specific fund matters far less than the act of starting. Fidelity offers funds like FZROX, the Fidelity Zero Total Market Index Fund, with literally zero expense ratio. Schwab offers SWTSX. Vanguard offers VTSAX or VTI. Pick one. Do not overthink it. The difference between them is measured in hundredths of a percent. The difference between starting today and starting next year is measured in tens of thousands of dollars. Kayla opened a Roth IRA at Fidelity during her lunch break the following Thursday. She invested $300 into FZROX. She set up a $50 monthly automatic contribution from her checking account. That single $300, invested at age 26 and never touched again, grows to approximately $6,500 by the time she turns 65 at a 7% average annual return. But the habit she built by starting is worth far more than the math of the first $300, because every additional dollar she invests from this point forward enters a system that already exists. Let me show you what Kayla's weekend just built. Step 1, $500 move to a high-yield savings account earning 4.4% APY instead of 0.01%. Emergency micro buffer established. Financial vulnerability reduced by 78% per NerdWallet data. Step 2, $260 per month automated into the HYSA. No monthly decision required. Financial confidence increased by 33% per Empower data. Step 3, $200 extra payment against 24.99% credit card. Approximately $50 in interest saved this year. The card is now on an accelerated payoff trajectory. Step 4 to $401K contribution increased to full match. Approximately $2,115 per year in free employer money captured. This is the highest return investment she will ever make. Step 5, $300 invested in a Roth IRA at Fidelity in a zero-expense total market index fund. $50 per month recurring. Compound clock started. Total cost of Kayla's weekend, $1,000 deployed and approximately 45 minutes of her time. Here is the 30-year projection. If Kayla continues her $50 monthly Roth IRA contribution from age 26 to age 56 at a 7% annual return, the inflation-adjusted historical average of the S&P 500, her Roth IRA alone grows to approximately $60,000. If she increases the contribution by $25 each year as her salary grows, it exceeds $150,000. If her employer match contributions of $2,115 per year continue and grow modestly with salary increases, her 401k reaches approximately $450,000 by age 56. Her HYSA emergency fund, maintained at 3 to 6 months of expenses, provides the financial runway that prevents her from ever needing to touch the investments during a crisis. Total projected net worth at 56 from moves she made on one weekend at age 26, between $500,000 and $700,000. None of it required earning more money. None of it required a financial advisor. None of it required a paid tool. All of it started with $1,000 in 45 minutes. The alternative, leaving that $1,000 in a checking account earning 0.01%, never automating, never capturing the match, never starting a Roth IRA, produces a retirement balance of approximately $180,000 to $220,000. Comfortable but constrained. The gap between those two outcomes is not about how much Kayla earns over the next 30 years. It is about what she did with her first $1,000 on one weekend in her mid-20s. Here is the exact sequence for your weekend. Friday night, open a high-yield savings account at Ally, Marcus, or Discover. Transfer $500 from your checking account. Set up automatic monthly transfers from checking to HYSA. Saturday morning, log into your company HR portal. Check your 401k match percentage. Increase your contribution to at least the full match threshold. If you do not have a 401k, move to Step 5. Saturday afternoon, if you carry credit card debt above 15% APR, send an extra $200 against the highest rate card. If you have no credit card debt, add the $200 to your Step 5 investment. Sunday morning, open a Roth IRA at Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. Invest $300 into a total market index fund. Set up a recurring monthly contribution of $25 or $50. Sunday afternoon, sit with your phone. Open all 4 accounts you just created and look at them. The HY, the 401k with employer match, the credit card with the reduced balance, the Roth IRA. That is your financial foundation. And you built it in 48 hours. Before Kayla did this, she had $1,000 in her checking account and no idea what to do with it. She felt behind. She felt confused. She felt like wealth building was something that happened to other people with bigger salaries and better luck. After this weekend, she has 4 active financial accounts all working simultaneously. Her emergency buffer is earning real interest. Her savings are automated. Her highest interest debt is on an accelerated payoff path. Her employer is depositing free money into her retirement account every paycheck. And her first investment is already growing inside a Roth IRA. She will not pay taxes on when she withdraws it at retirement. She is not rich. She is not even close to rich yet. But she is structurally different from who she was last Thursday, because now her money has a sequence, and that sequence runs whether she thinks about it or not. Aaron Lowry, author of Broke Millennial Takes on Investing, says something that landed with me the first time I read it. The hardest part of investing is not learning which fund to pick. The hardest part is believing you are the kind of person who invests. Once you cross that line, everything else is math. Kayla crossed that line this weekend. You can too. Your first $1,000 is not the beginning of having enough. It is the beginning of having a system. And the system, once it starts running, does not need your permission to keep building. Welcome to Goodnews Invest, where money starts making sense. Now you have the 5-step action plan for your first $1,000 saved. But there is one more move that costs $0 and has more impact on your wealth and saving. Your credit score determines what interest rates you pay on every future loan, and a perfect 850 score can save you 6 figures over a lifetime. Next Saturday morning I am walking through the exact free steps to build a perfect credit score without paying a single dollar to any credit repair company. Click the step-by-step money playlist so YouTube tells you the moment it drops. And before you go, reply below with which of the 5 steps you did first this weekend. I read every comment.